Perhaps I can ask a couple of questions just to the people working on silicon, so Semidynamics and SiPearl. I understand Semidynamics is working hard to create a RISC-V chip, and SiPearl is working very hard to create an ARM-based chip. Do you foresee combinations of the two technologies? This is really a theme under the RISER project. I know that the two teams collaborate, but perhaps you can make a comment. Do you see some commercial interest in systems that are more heterogeneous? That's really the essence of my question. You don't need to make any commercial commitment, just express your honest opinion on this extreme heterogeneity angle.
From my side, I think today we can, yes, it can be heterogeneous. We don't see that. So having the ARM CPU as an orchestrator to the accelerator, it's so it's a personal thought. So the maturity of RISC-V, it's coming day on day. Tomorrow everything can be RISC-V, but it lacks resources today. If you have 95% of your software stack which is working on RISC-V, but the last 5% are the big pain sometimes.
Okay.
So there is still a lot of effort on RISC-V.
Okay. And you would probably, the way you said, you prioritize the completeness and maturity of software stack rather than hardware capability, if I can ask you this follow-up clarification.
We have the hardware. After we see that with the operating system, for example. It's an example. It's a question of maturity, but we know it's a long journey, and we will manage to reach it.
Okay. Josep, from your side?
Current systems are already heterogeneous, so it will be, a great change that now we have a complete full system all based on the same ISA would be probably nice, and it will come in the future. RISC-V has taken over this has emerged on the I/O space, I/O microcontrollers, and also in the accelerators, which some kind is more like custom, although they are full-fledged, more of them full-fledged, they boot Linux, but we're still missing like the big cores on the RISC-V, but probably they are coming in the next years. But and of course, as Francisco says, the ISA still needs some maturity in this aspect in order to have a full orchestrator core based on RISC-V. Especially on the virtualization and hypervisor space.
Yeah. And it's as context for the people on the call, I know that under RISER, but under the other related projects, there is a lot of development that is focusing exactly on such pain points. But having said that, this is in a somewhat limited context, and I understand the companies need to have a different time frame and probably different priorities in the areas that receive attention and effort.
Yeah, well, not only companies, but as well the ISA ecosystem along with the software ecosystem to go together.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And if I can ask a question of on Tan's presentation, Tan, you brought up the topic of sovereignty. You emphasized that data is really the precious resource in some sense. And given that CloudSigma is a cloud provider, what you showed us in the demonstration is a cloud-hosted product, right? Or is it a product that you foresee as being available to a completely private installation and on-premises installation? I mean, as of today, what you described, is it feasible on-premises?
It is even deployed. I mean, the deployment model that we support is various.
Okay.
We support, first of all, in terms of business and go-to-market, our partner in country, 15 countries today.
Okay.
And we are operating the platform.
Okay, so so this is because of the network points of presence that CloudSigma has access to, right? That's how the countries come up, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then
So
based on those service, based on how they want to address the market, for instance, public sector government, we can deploy that in a public way, hybrid way, or even private way. The private way is a private deployment model and can be also air-gapped. So we support down to the air-gapped environment. For instance, that's something that we do have in the Philippines for the Ministry of Digital, and it's a completely air-gapped environment. So in that case, yes, nobody can access except the people from the government.
Okay. And the trick question, if you allow me, so would you consider, I mean, as a possibility to use hardware that is upcoming, for example, more mature versions of the prototypes that are coming out of Riser and the related projects, or would you go for entirely mainstream, shall we say, market verified platforms? Is there a comment that you can make there? I mean, we don't have it yet. That was pretty much what our colleagues earlier said. But would you be willing, would you see some potential interest in doing a case study?
I would love to do that. The compelling event behind that is NeoCloud. When you are building a NeoCloud, which is an AI power cloud provider, you are thinking at scale. And when you're thinking at scale, question is how can you control your OpEx? And by controlling OpEx is how you can reduce your power consumption and hosting capabilities. So there's air cooling, there's liquid cooling, there's a lot of technology, but still you have to be able to consume less. That's the point. So today we are working with, just to be very transparent, we are working with ARM, because if you think about what the mainstream guys are doing compared to ARM, we can reduce by 4 the power consumption. If you do that at scale for a NeoCloud, you can see the savings behind. And if you ask me, are we willing to do that on the RISC-V? Definitely yes. Now it depends on the workload, because there's going to be workload, and every workload which will be Kubernetes, so containerized based and supported by on the RISC-V system, I would be very happy to have that. And the way to validate such stack end-to-end from the hardware up to the software layer, it is something that we can take into account end-to-end. Of course, with the hardware provider. So yes, so that's the short answer.
Okay, thank you very much. And perhaps a comment by Chagatai on you showed us all this very impressive infrastructure that is exactly aimed towards establishing the maturity of platforms. So I know that Bryce and you personally, you are quite committed in this direction. How do you see the situation with increasing demand for cloud services, but all these concerns about the sovereignty problems? I'll call them problems. That's my personal opinion. Do you think that we are on a good track? Do you see a rapid end goal, an end goal that is close in time, or do you see this as a long process? How do you see it from your point of view, which is really the maturation of the platforms?
I mean, generally talking, like I'm just, I think that it's speeding up. The major thing I think we should address that the organization that we can work, they have to answer to European laws, right? This is the first thing that matters so much. This is more about the data sovereignty. This is what I wanted to address at the beginning. Like the European data has to be processed in a safe way with organizations who can answer to European law. The second thing, I think some of the presentations addressed it in a really good way. The source hardware suppliers for this infrastructure still is a war that we are not advancing so good. And that's why, as a researcher, let's say, I'm quite optimistic with the results of projects like Riser and Higher and so on, because basically there is the demand, and we are just you actually addressed it to everyone, but we are looking forward to test and identify the potential of these technologies under different workloads, like especially in the basis of AI and agentic workloads. So probably higher can be delivered in really nice outcomes.
Okay, Jared, I thank you for your comment. In which case we can wrap up the section. Thank you very much for taking the time to attend, and we appreciate a lot of the assistance that we received from the colleagues of HiPeak. Remember, we have a follow-up event, actually a physical event coming up in HiPeak at Krakow on the 26th of January. We'll be happy to see you there and interact with you in the real world. Again, thank you for your time and attention, and you will receive some word when we have the material packaged on the website, and likewise the video recording from our session today. Thank you very much. Take care, and we catch up in other occasions. Thank you.